Hi, everyone. This is your friendly neighborhood Joe from the Massachusetts Pirate Party, your quartermaster. Along with me, I have Jamie, the captain of the Pirate Party. And we just had a little announcement. We wanted to reach out to everyone, kind of recap on some of the events that have been going on, and really just go on to what we're doing today. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
You know what? I can't complain. Well, actually, I can because what's going over across the pond in Europe is not making me too happy. Um, I'm sure you heard about the EU Parliament and what they have done. Jamie, could you
Uh,
enlighten us?
sure. It's absolutely amazing some of the things they've voted on and have put into place. Thankfully, we still have some time to help our fellow European pirates to get rid of this awful set of laws, but it's going to be an uphill battle. So, a lot of the information comes from our pirate in the European Parliament, Julia Reda. She has a good description about what's going on. Two primary things. One, Germany has a link tax such that if you link to a website, you have to pay them some money. It also limits the number of words you can, from the article, say that you can use. That's according to this article, what's called Article 11 of this law. That would now be the case in all of the European Union.
And
Also,
sorry for interrupting, but
no, it's
did you
fine.
say that they're limiting the words you can use? So, I mean, they're really censoring what can be said and what can't be said.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a complete win for the copyright monopolists. The other problem, well, there's several problems. The other one that we've been looking at is Article 13, which was upload filters. Now, if you go to a website, unless you're a really small website, and who knows how that's going to be defined, what happens is if someone loads content onto your website, if they load a video, if they load audio, if they load a game, if they load text, whatever, you have to filter through that upload and determine whether any of it infringes on copyright or not, regardless of whether they have fair use, regardless of whether it's a parody, regardless of whether it's a tiny little snippet of some copywritten material. This is really going to help Google, who spent, say, $60 million to create their own filter system for, say, YouTube. This is going to help Facebook, who's done that. Any medium players, any smaller sites, they're going to be screwed, basically. They're going to have to either put these filters in place, outsource it to someone else, or just simply go out of business. And, we've seen where these rules come into place to help the copyright maximalists, help the copyright monopolists, and they screw everyone else over. And they, of course, help the big corporations that are already there and have the money to put in the hoops that these copyright monopolists want. The other two issues, one near and dear to my heart as a photographer, is you no longer have the right of panorama, and that means if I'm going to go take a picture of a public space or a building, now I have to get, if I want to make any money off of that and possibly even just show it, now I've got to get the permission of the architect, of the designer of the public art. It's just ludicrous. If something's public, you can take a picture of it. I don't understand why we're putting this in place. It's something that the French do, and it's completely ludicrous. The other thing is, this is going to affect a lot of people who watch sports, and that is, if you take a video or take a picture of a sports game, then you have to have permission to share that. So if you take a selfie at a football game or some other sports event in the European Union, now you've got to now if you go and upload it, it can immediately get taken down. You have to get the permission of the particular team or teams.
I mean, they're already doing something like that in the NFL where they say you can't copyright that and use it for money. But I mean, in America, we can take a picture of something and put it up, right? And
Absolutely.
so long as we're not trying to make money off of it, completely fine to use. If it is to critique things, also it is fine to use. Correct?
Correct. I mean, fair use is broad in a number of ways, and certainly if you parody something, if you're commenting on something, then fair use, which is definitely something in the United States and in other countries as well, but allows you to take parts, or in the case of parody, to take something in whole and redo it in order to poke fun at it. And these copyright filters, they don't know any nuance. They don't know if you're trying to parody something or you're commenting on something. It's very black and white. And so now we've taken things that people could legally do, the software will prevent them from doing. As Lawrence Lessig said, code is law. And so the copyright people are trying to change the laws in ways and put in software that will fundamentally harm the freedoms of people in the European Union.
Now, I heard how you were saying the copyright people. Already, the copyright laws are really pushing something really, really hard. And I don't know if anybody's listening really understands that, but the DRM, and what DRM, digital rights management movement, really is all about. We here at the Pirate Party don't really agree with DRM or digital rights management. My own personal opinion is once something's on your screen, you've spent the computer power to download it to your machine, you should own it. So you should have the right to repair it. You should have the right to change it if it's on your own PC. So can you tell me a little bit about what DRM and copyright laws we have to deal with in America?
Sure. Digital DRM, digital rights management, by the way, last week was the Free Software Foundation's Day Against DRM. And what that does is that is putting a lock on some work of art, a game, music, a movie, a web page potentially, such that only the people who have the key can access that media. But what's interesting is, as Cory Doctorow has remarked, that's a lock that is owned by an intermediary. It's owned by Apple when you go and get a game through the App Store, or it's owned by Sony when you get a game from your console, or Microsoft when you or say Netflix when you're viewing a movie through Netflix. And it's not that the key to that is not owned by the creator. The intermediary, the one who controls how you get that piece of art, that's the one who has the lock, and that's the one who has the key. So in the case of ebooks, if you go and you get an ebook, say through Amazon, Amazon didn't create those books, right? They have people who upload those books and use their system. Yet Amazon has the lock to get those. If Amazon decides, oh, we're no longer selling that book, then they can lock you out of access to the books you've already purchased. I mean, we had that happen with Apple recently, where someone had gotten a set of movies and bought them, not rented them, but bought them through Apple's store. And then Apple said, oh, well, we're no longer paying for those anymore. We don't have those on our store. And so the right to view something that they had purchased was removed. Think about it, if DRM prevents you from doing things with your, as you said, doing things with your own property. And that is, certainly, America, where we are so concerned about property rights, we let corporations define what our property is.
Yeah, and I find that really, really funny because one's definition of what you think you own, generally in the fine print that nobody ever reads, they'll put, well, we actually still own this. You're paying for the right to use it. And So you really got to pay attention to that fine print, and really what you're buying. Because when you buy something nowadays, especially with a lot of games, and you see this a lot in the gaming world, is that, oh, you're getting this update. Oh, if it doesn't work, too bad. We're still keeping your money. And so a lot of that copyright laws I think, are being over exercised into being something a lot more than what they should be. Would you agree?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, we've seen it where people go and they have a lease on a car, and the corporation they're leasing the car from, doesn't receive a certain number of payments, and they basically shut down the car. The person
I
could
think
be
it's like
still
two,
driving,
actually.
but they shut down the car.
I think it's like two payments nowadays.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, think about it. If it was, as we have these smart entry keys to your house. Imagine if the person you were paying your mortgage to, or your landlord, decided, oh, you haven't paid. Oh, we're going to lock you out of your house, or lock you in your house. Think about that in terms of who owns what. And we've put these software and tools in place that are limiting people's freedom.
And we really need to fight that. Speaking
Absolutely.
of, and really speaking of how we're going to really be fighting that, everybody, we are having some really exciting coming events this week. So we have our pirate conference coming up, literally coming up this Saturday. Be there or be square. Yes, that's right, I said that. And of course, every Tuesday we are also having MeshNet, which is taking our internet back, piece by piece, person by person. Really, what the schedule looks like is going to break down is we're going to do a breakfast, a meet and greet, right at the crack of 9, get all set up, and then really covering where this last year, where we stand, and have some platform discussion. Coming in from 11 noon, we will do some basic mixer for lunch, and then coming at 1, the sex worker rights presentation for a half an hour. 1:30, another platform discussion, and then between 2:30 and 3, running for office with local organizing. Then some lightning talks from 3:30 to 4:30. After that, I myself will be presenting other ways in which you can serve, which I am really excited about. And then we have a mass net progress, and then we're going to wrap it up with what we really need to be focused on moving forward. So, and that's a pretty jam-packed day, if I don't say so myself. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for another exciting pirate video coming out of Massachusetts. And all of you, thank you so much for all of your support. And hopefully give us a thumbs up, and make sure if you're not subscribed, you subscribe. Thank you.
Bye.